Yo, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Malik Tijani. For those of you who don't know me, welcome to my podcast, the Malik Tijani Podcast. That I will I'm definitely going to keep the name of the podcast, but on my YouTube channel, it's going to be my podcast, but it's also going to be me traveling with friends, with family, maybe even solo. I might go for a solo dolo trip, trying to experience the world in its purest fashion. But yeah, we're going to use this camera for a lot more in the future. I have plans that, by the grace of God, will come to fruition, and I think it will be a fun time. So welcome. On this podcast specifically, however, we talk about topics relating to lessons I've learned in my life, lessons I am currently learning, and lessons that I have been inspired by from other people's stories as well. So I try and address everything that has to do with a human experience. So as long as you are human, which I'm assuming you are, this is a podcast for you. And this is a channel for you. This is a community for you. So on today's episode, we're talking about something relating to my gaming years. The topic for today's episode is all it takes is one. All it takes is one. And this is a very popular gaming saying in games like Call of Duty, Valorant, Fortnite, whatever shooting game you're familiar with. They've probably said this term at least once. Most people who've been gaming for like a long time have heard this or have said this themselves. All it takes is one. And what this concept is not really a concept or what this saying means is all it takes is one kill. All it takes is one good play. All it takes is one win in order to change things around. The very first shift that this saying encapsulates is a shift in momentum. There's a shift in momentum whenever all it takes is one, whenever this saying starts to take place. A shift in momentum in the sense that, let's put this in the gaming perspective, in the sense that the momentum is not on your side. Whenever you're watching a sports game or you see someone who's been on a losing streak for a while and they suddenly start to win and they win once, they win their very first game, and then it seems like their whole luck changed around. That's what this means. It is a shift of momentum from losing to winning. And it all starts with that very first kill, with that very first good play, that very first good game, that very first win. As soon as that happens, you get this kind of drive, this motivation to get another one, which makes you want to get another one, and it starts to stack until you eventually win the game. So that is really the first shift you see with this that surrounds the saying of all it takes is one. And you can put whatever you want at the end of that. All it takes is one kill, all it takes is one play, all it takes is one game, all it takes is one win, all it takes is one. The second shift is a shift in mindset. I did an informal study, and you could say, of this concept when I was playing. As I was doing my peak gaming years, and I got into the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that came out a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. And I would notice a very big shift in my performance whenever between two situations, between two scenarios. Scenario A was when I was playing and I was simply doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I found myself losing and losing all over again. And whenever I lost so much, my mindset, my mind felt very cloudy. It felt like I had a one-track mind. I had tunnel vision. I couldn't really see outside of what I was doing. And I just kept doing the same thing. And I thought to myself, if I just keep doing this, maybe I'll win. It was almost like I stopped thinking, and my hands just kept doing things that I knew wouldn't work. It was weird because I knew it wouldn't work, but something convinced me that if I just keep doing this, maybe something might happen. And so all it takes is one. In this context, essentially, would push me to do something different. It would push me to try a new play, even if it doesn't work out. Because all I know is what I've been doing so far hasn't worked. So I need to do something different. And so if I can keep trying different ways to get a kill or get a good play or get a win, if I keep trying different ways and one way works, all I need is one. All I need is one way to work. And then now I have a new framework in order to get another kill, in order to get another good play, in order to get another win. All it takes is one. That's the second shift. The third shift is one that I believe is very, very applicable to our daily lives and our jobs and school and whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. And the third shift is a shift in thinking, from positive to negative, or from negative to positive. Or yeah, I meant negative to positive, not positive to negative, but it kind of goes both ways. I would find myself, like as I'm losing in a game, turning very negative, which is a very natural response for anyone who's not getting what they want, especially in gaming. I think it's more popular to see a gamer rage like after losing than see them winning and being happy. It's just the gaming experience. If you game, you're gonna lose at least once in your career. Like, it's just how it is. You can't win every single game. And so when you lose, there are negative emotions that come as a result of that. And it starts to cause, in some cases, this downward spiral of, I lost and all these different things and I'm just not good and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. A very negative way of thinking, a very negative mindset. And then that negative mindset, you would think, would push you to do better your next game, but it doesn't really. It does the opposite. It makes you perform worse. It makes you perform maybe even less than what you did before. Like you somehow were worse than when you were losing, which causes even more negative thinking, which causes an even worse performance, and so on and so forth. And so all it takes is one. When you say that in your mind, when you say it out loud, you catch yourself in that negative cycle, and you tell yourself that all I need is one good shot, one good kill, one good game, one good win, and I will have enough momentum to break out of this cycle in order to get better, in order to win more games, in order to be better at the game. And so when you're able to remind yourself, it serves as a reminder that all it takes is one good play in order for my luck to turn around. And so it keeps you positive. It essentially keeps you positive, even though you might still keep on losing for a while. As long as you keep on going and you can at least get that one good feeling of winning or good feeling of doing something good in the game, that is enough to push you to get another one. And so it's a way to shift yourself from out of that negative cycle of thinking into a more positive state, which always, when I did it myself, personally, when I was playing Fortnite a lot, I found that I performed better. I did better. I was more aware. I was more motivated. And I got to my goal faster than when I was just in that negative spiral of, I'm never going to win. I'm never going to get this. I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to do this. And it would take so much longer to get what I actually wanted than just doing this. And so that's the third shift, the shift in thinking. And the fourth and final shift is a shift in lifestyle. It's a shift in living, in the way you live. All it takes is one. I believe this is not only applicable to the gaming community, but it's applicable to the human community, the human experience, where when you see success, it doesn't really matter if it's like maybe a big business deal or as little as getting a good grade on a test. All you need is one good teacher. All you need is one good test that you studied for really hard and actually got rewarded for. All you need is one good opportunity at your job to show what you can do. All you need is one good experience to change around your whole life. This is really applicable to me because my first 2 years of college and my last 2 years of college, if I could put them, like if I could make a movie and I just showed you a movie the whole maybe 4 hour movies to represent my 4 years, you would think that it was a piece of like fiction. You wouldn't believe it. What happened? What didn't happen my first 2 years, and all that happened my last 2 years. It's unbelievable, and that all resulted simply from pushing myself to get one good experience, to get one friend, and to go from there. And that's the very hardest part of this. It's that very first time is always the hardest. Doing it the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time, each time it only gets easier. It might still be hard, but it's at least it's less hard than the very first time. That first time, it's like if you feel like you're pushing past a barrier, pushing past a mountain that has been there for the longest time. That is how the first time doing anything is, which is why I think this saying has so much weight and so much truth to it, because all it takes is one time. I believe in the human experience to kind of change it a little bit. Instead of all it takes is one, I believe that all you need is one. All you need is one good time. I read in a book that I was supposed to read today, actually, that it talks about success and how people who have been successful have thought about their lives and how they acted in their lives, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And I remember, I just can't get it out of my head. He said that Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times in creating the light bulb. 10,000. And then he finally got to where he wanted to be. He finally discovered the secret behind it. 10,000 times. You could either focus on the amount of times he failed and maybe think to yourself, I couldn't do that. I'd be out after 10. I'd be out after 100. I'd be out after 1,000. You could either think about the number of times he failed, but I don't really think he had like a set number to where, I don't think 10,000 was his like limit to where he said, oh, if I fail 10,000 times, then I'm gonna give up. I think he had a mentality of all it takes is one. All I need is to succeed one time, and that's all you need. And so he just kept going until he found the one. He didn't keep going until he hit 10,000. He kept going until he found the one thing that worked. And if you can find the strength to adapt, to mold yourself, to change, to improve, to grow at every single moment, whenever one plan doesn't work, switch to another one that might work, to continue going until you've tried 10,000 plans, until you've tried 10,000 ways, until you've tried 10,000 plays, or maybe 100,000, or however many it might take, until you can find the one. Then you will inevitably reach your goal. You will, no matter what, achieve what you've been wishing to achieve, as long as you don't stop until you can find the one way, the one path that you have been looking for. And that is what I have for you today, for today's episode. All you need is one. All it takes is one. This was inspired by my many years of gaming. I haven't really gamed as much now as I used to do, like peak gaming Malik, but it definitely has inspired a part of my life and molded a part of me that is just will always be there. And yeah, hopefully you learned something more about me. Hopefully you got something from this learning opportunity. I will be downloading the audio version essentially to Spotify from now on. So this is kind of the video uploading my YouTube channel. I still haven't learned any type of editing skills, so edits to come, animations and all that. So yep, this is not only the first of many. This is the many of many to come. I will see y'all next time.